Hey guys, you're watching Finance Squared, and I'm your host Derek West. And becoming a millionaire is simple, not complex. And simultaneously, it's hard and not easy. Now that's kind of confusing, but it's also true. And I'll go over that in this video. But to become a millionaire, well, it requires discipline, self-control, and most importantly, a plan. Luckily for you, I have assembled such a plan in this video. Keep watching to the end to learn all the steps, starting with step 1. Becoming a millionaire is all about executing against a plan, and plans are formed to accomplish a goal. Now, to close out every video, I declare that a goal without a plan is a wish, and a goal with a plan but no action is a wish list. Simply declaring that you have a goal, let's say to be a millionaire, and then just living your life the way you've always lived your life, is in reality just saying that you have a wish to be a millionaire. You want to distinguish your wishes from your goals. Wishes are things that you want to happen to you, but that you really can't control. Goals are things that you can accomplish if you lay out plans and put them into action. And if they're to become a reality, again, they require plans. And those plans are really a series of steps. And those steps need dedicated action to make them come into fruition. And for becoming a millionaire, the first thing you need to do is, in your mind, decide that it can be a reality for you, that is a realistic goal. And I can tell you, it is realistic for just about anybody to become a millionaire. But that's something for you to decide. And once you have decided that, you need to work backwards on all the things you'll need to get there. And that will be defining the steps. And once you have established what those steps are, the rest of those steps, by the way, I'm gonna go over in this video, you need to ruthlessly execute. Speaking of which, step 2 on becoming a millionaire, start to save as early as possible. Saving and investing for too many people is one and the same thing. I'll talk about the difference more thoroughly in other videos, so be sure to subscribe with post notifications turned on so you don't miss out when it drops. But I just want to make sure you have the right information. If you just put your money into a savings account, depending on your rate of savings, that is how much you save every month, and how much you earn, and how much of those earnings you save every month, you may become a millionaire. But it will happen for you much slower than it could if you invested. And investing doesn't have to be going crazy and investing in all kinds of wild and exotic investment instruments. But simply saving is probably going to be the long road for just about everybody. And during the process, you're going to be losing money. Now, that may not matter if your goal is purely to have $1 million and not to increase your wealth, as an example. But it is something that you should definitely keep in mind. But saving can simply happen if you simply make sure that when your employer offers you a 401k match, as an example, that you take full advantage of that. Because that's what the kids are calling free money nowadays. Make sure your contributions are taken out of your paycheck automatically, so you minimize the willpower it takes to pull this off. And keep in mind, the younger you start doing this, the easier it will become as you get older, and the more money you will accrue. Remember, time plus consistency equals wealth. Consistently invest, and as time goes on, your wealth adds up. Once you're starting to save and invest, it's time to pick your vehicle. So you have a goal, and you're building the investing muscles required to be successful at the investing game. Now it's time to pick the vehicle to get you to where you want to go. A Porsche is going to get you from point A to point B faster than a bicycle, and a jet is going to get you faster than both of them. If you pick the right vehicle, then becoming a millionaire can be easy or hard. Some favorite vehicles of folks on YouTube include real estate. Others include creating your own small business using modern tools like Shopify or Amazon FBA. Others yet like investing in stocks or cryptocurrency. All of them can be, and most of them are, great vehicles for growing your wealth. Now, some of them are riskier than others, some start off slower than others, and others still require more patience and perseverance to grow. Yet and still, in all cases, if you stick with your chosen path and you don't try to jump around to different paths too often, particularly when you meet a little resistance, you'll be much closer to accruing true wealth. A little more on that point of jumping around. The point is, just because you face a little bit of resistance on your path towards wealth, that's not the time to switch horses or switch vehicles midstream. That's when you double down, i.e. head to the gas station and fill up the tank and continue on your path. Keep in mind, both cars and airplanes are legitimate vehicles. Same thing with all the types of investment vehicles that are arrayed out there for you. But make sure you complete your journey on any one of them, because completing the journey is where the true value comes from and where most of your wealth building will occur. So yeah, pick one vehicle, maybe two if they complement each other. Stick with it through the resistance and sticking points, and you will eventually hit your goal. For the purposes of this video, I'm assuming that vehicle is investing in the stock market. But again, it doesn't have to be. And you can apply these steps more or less the same way to other vehicles as well. And those would actually make great videos for this channel, so make sure you're liked and subscribed. And the next step speaks to another reason why becoming a millionaire is simple, but not easy. It really involves becoming aggressive. I talked about becoming a millionaire and how relatively simple it is. Why do I say that? Well, I say that because it's not complex. What do I mean? Well, I mean if you have a plan with relatively few steps, 10 for example, and you execute on that plan, I can guarantee that you accomplish that goal, particularly in today's day and age, where inflation is the name of the game. There was a time in the not so distant past that $1 million was a real sum of money. I venture to say that living off of $1 million today for the rest of one's life is not possible with today's dollars. That said though, making $1 million is simple, but it's not easy. It is easier than it was 10, 20, or 30 years ago, but it's still a feat to accomplish. It requires you to leave your comfort zone and stretch yourself and be aggressive with your investment timelines. And part of that level of difficulty is understanding that investing requires a strong will and also requires investing consistently and aggressively over time. Keeping in mind that if you want to become a millionaire and grow your wealth, you will have a completely different strategy than someone who already has some wealth and they're simply looking to preserve it. I say all of this to get across the point that becoming a millionaire is simple but not easy. If you follow a plan, there are not a ton of moving parts. You just have to execute. And execution is the hardest part. And I spoke a little bit earlier about saving versus investing, and how saving is a slower and frankly more costly way to grow your wealth due to everyone's favorite economic phenomenon, inflation. And that you're better off investing your money, well, to become a millionaire as fast as possible. That can require aggressive investing and making sure your asset allocation or the types of investment instruments that you are invested in align with that goal. If you're invested in a ton of bonds, that's better than saving, but still not aggressive enough for your goal of hitting $1 million in a relatively short time span. Investing in index funds or ETFs that are indexed for the S&P 500 or Russell 2000. Now you're getting closer to the mark. There is a school of thought that says that you should take it even further and own a diversified portfolio of single stocks. I would say at that point, your risk to reward ratio is skewed too far towards the risk end of the spectrum, and you may end up with goose eggs for nest eggs. Now this is just an entertainment and education channel, so I don't recommend anything on here, and even if I did, I would say you're better off sharing this video with your investment advisor and kicking off the conversation with them on how you should be allocating your assets. That said though, for best results, stick with ETFs and index funds as your main investing vehicle. It's fine to have a separate fund invested in individual stocks, just in case you find the one that really explodes. But at that point, you're closer to playing the lottery than you are to investing. You may be starting to see why becoming a millionaire is simple, but not easy. If you keep your investment instruments simple, invest consistently over time, be aggressive with those investments, then becoming a millionaire is almost inevitable. The other part about being aggressive is actually the next step in becoming a millionaire. And the next step is increase your investments, decrease your spending. You're going to want to increase the amount you invest in consistently, while at the same time decreasing the amount you spend. Investing and becoming a millionaire really is simple. The more you do it, the faster it works. The faster it works, the more you accumulate. And the best way to do this is no matter what your income level. Find ways to cut back on spending and taking the rest and investing it. Now you'll get to a certain point where you will not want to compromise your lifestyle any further. But it's up to you to figure out what that point is. Maybe you can live with only going out to eat once a week, maybe once a month, maybe only on special occasions. With each choice you make, your savings rate continues to grow. And if you invest the amount that you save, your wealth grows that much faster. Some folks get really crazy and stop shopping at regular grocery stores, only buying their foods in bulk, and they meal prep during the weekends to save on electricity and groceries and water. And then they invest the difference. Sometimes they only go out to eat when they find a coupon for their favorite restaurant on a website. The possibilities are endless. But once you have this step down, the next step you're going to want to take is to maximize your options. I talked about 401k earlier and making sure to put in a percentage that is matched by your employer. That's almost a given. But don't forget that you can also open up taxable investment accounts. Now earlier I said that the bulk of your investment should be in index funds or ETFs that are tracking major broad-based indexes like the S&P 500 or the Russell 2000. I also mentioned that it's okay to have some money in single stocks if you want to invest in companies that you believe in and that you think will do well. And keep in mind, this is not investment advice of any kind, but you could invest in index funds in your tax-deferred 401k or IRA and invest in single stocks in your taxable investment account to maximize your investment opportunities. Now again, your taxable investments would probably be better off in an index fund or an ETF that's pegged to the S&P 500. But if you want consistent, less risky gains, but then again, no risk, no reward, am I right? Investing in taxable investment accounts helps you to invest and save more, particularly since you can only invest $19,500 into a 401k or IRA in the year 2021. And after that, you basically have no choice. But once you hit that level, don't make it an excuse. Put that extra overflow into a taxable investment account. Once you have all these things completed, you have probably the most difficult step awaiting you. What is awaiting you? Simply waiting for your investments to come to fruition. If you manage to max out your 401k or IRA every year for 20 years into a broad-based index fund like the S&P 500, and you get back an average rate of return of 11%, which is not unheard of for the S&P 500, you will have $1,409,170. Not bad at all. The problem is, waiting is the hardest part. The reason for this is, to actually achieve that mind-blowing number, you have to follow those steps consistently and without fail. And executing on that every day, every month, every week, and every year, that can leave a lot of room for temptation to deviate from the plan. And frankly, not a lot of folks have the wherewithal to stick to it till the end. And that's probably the reason why not a lot of folks become a millionaire, to be real with you. But if you have the wherewithal to do it, then you can become one of the few folks who actually can claim to be a millionaire. And your next step is to subscribe to this channel and turn on post notifications so you don't miss any videos, like the one I just completed, which breaks down all the steps you need to execute to increase your wealth. Be sure to like this video if you like this video. Also share with your friends or your financial advisor if you really want to take your finances to the next level. Be sure to drop a comment on these 7 steps to becoming a millionaire. Did I miss any? Or would you add some additional ones? We're all dying to know, folks. And remember, a goal without a plan is a wish, and a goal with a plan and no action is a wish list. Take care, guys, and I'll catch you on the next video.